Most men think respect is something they can demand, something that can be negotiated, or worse, something that can be begged for. But respect, real respect, doesn't work like that. Women do not respect men simply because those men want respect. They respect men who embody something greater, something stable, something unshakable. Let's be clear, respect is not about aggression, control, or shouting the loudest in the room. Respect comes from being the kind of man who doesn't need external validation to know his worth, a man who has direction, a mission, a spine. Women test men all the time, sometimes consciously, often subconsciously. They're looking to see if you can hold your ground when things get hard, if you can stay calm when life gets messy, if you can stay focused when distractions come. They respect men who can carry their own burdens without collapsing into self-pity. And yes, they respect men who can say no. Too many men say yes to everything out of fear. Fear of losing approval, fear of losing affection, fear of conflict. But when you can say no, when you can walk away from situations, relationships, or opportunities that compromise your values, that's when women sit up and take notice. Respect is one of those words that gets thrown around a lot, but rarely is it understood. Men are often told that they deserve respect simply by existing, that they should be given it as a birthright. And when they don't receive it, they feel wronged, even cheated. But this is a misunderstanding of how human dynamics work. Respect is not handed out like candy. It's not something you are owed. It is something that must be inspired, earned, and maintained through the way you live. When it comes to women, this truth becomes even more crucial. Women are biologically, emotionally, and socially wired to respect men who demonstrate strength, not just physical strength, but emotional, intellectual, and moral strength. They do not respect men who collapse under pressure, who are constantly seeking approval, or who hand over their dignity for scraps of affection. Think about it. A man who begs for respect reveals immediately that he doesn't believe he is worthy of it. A man who tries to force respect by intimidation shows that he cannot command it naturally. And a man who resents the world for not respecting him is only telling everyone that he is powerless. None of these inspire respect. The men who are respected are the ones who don't need respect to validate them. They already know who they are, what they stand for, and where they are going. Their life has a spine. Their words have weight because they live by them. They don't need to shout. They don't need to posture. And they don't need to prove anything to anyone. Women, whether they admit it openly or not, are always measuring the men around them. They notice how you react to stress, how you handle rejection, how you behave when things don't go your way. They pay attention to whether you can hold the line when life is pushing back at you. Do you crumble, lash out, or start complaining? Or do you stay calm, make decisions, and keep moving forward? A man who can stay grounded under pressure, who does not let external chaos dictate his internal state, is rare. And it is precisely his rarity that makes him so magnetic. Women are drawn to this kind of man, not because he is perfect, but because he is stable. He provides a kind of psychological shelter. This is why respect cannot be begged for or demanded. It must be earned through the way you carry yourself. Your life becomes a statement. I am worthy of respect. And then paradoxically, you stop chasing it. You stop caring whether every single person around you respects you because you respect yourself first. That inner self-respect is the foundation upon which all external respect is built. And here is the hard truth. If you don't respect yourself, you will not receive respect from others. Women are extremely perceptive about this. They notice if you betray your own principles, if you lie to yourself, if you let your fears make your choices for you. They notice if you let other people walk all over you. And the moment they see that, their respect disappears. Not because they are cruel, but because that is how respect works. Respect flows toward the strong, the disciplined, the principled, not the loudest, not the most desperate, and not the most agreeable. A man who has his own center of gravity does not have to explain why he deserves respect. He simply lives in a way that commands it. One of the most underrated qualities in a man is his ability to hold firm boundaries. Boundaries are not just walls that keep people out. They are the framework that defines who you are. They are the lines you draw to protect your dignity, your time, your energy, and your values. And here's the truth that many men never learn. Women do not respect men who cannot protect their own boundaries. When you have no boundaries, you become endlessly available, endlessly accommodating, endlessly willing to compromise yourself just to avoid conflict or disapproval. At first, this might look like kindness. At first, a woman might even appreciate how much you are willing to do for her, how much you are willing to sacrifice. But very quickly, what she feels shifts from gratitude to contempt. She stops seeing you as a man who chooses her from a position of strength and starts seeing you as a man who needs her approval to function. A man without boundaries becomes predictable in the worst way. He will bend, twist, and reshape himself to fit whatever is demanded of him. He will tolerate disrespect just to keep the peace. He will say yes when he desperately wants to say no. And the more he does this, the less respect he gets, not just from women, but from everyone around him. Women test boundaries all the time, often without even realizing it. They are not doing this out of malice. They are doing it because they want to know if the man they are with is strong enough to hold the line. When you say no to something that violates your values, you are not being difficult. You are proving that you have a backbone. When you calmly enforce the standards you set for yourself, you are showing that you are not a man who can be easily swayed by pressure, guilt, or seduction. And this is where so many men go wrong. They think saying no will make them lose the woman. They think having boundaries will drive her away. But the opposite is true. When a man refuses to tolerate what is beneath his standard, when he holds firm without anger or drama, a woman's respect for him deepens. She sees that he is not a boy who can be manipulated. He is a man who can stand his ground. Boundaries are not just about relationships either. They are about how you run your life. Do you allow work to consume every waking hour? Do you let toxic friends or family drain your energy? Do you stay in situations that you know are not good for you because you are afraid of what will happen if you walk away? Every time you betray your own limits, you weaken your sense of self. Every time you enforce them, you strengthen it. A man who can say no without hesitation is not cold or unfeeling. He is simply clear about who he is and what he allows into his world. That clarity creates trust. It creates security. Women feel safer around a man who has boundaries because they know he will not lose himself in trying to please them. He will not become resentful and passive aggressive. He will not sacrifice his purpose just to keep them happy. Boundaries make you respectable because they show that you respect yourself, and self-respect is magnetic. It draws in the right people and repels the wrong ones. A man who knows his limits does not need to argue, explain, or justify them. He simply lives by them. This is why the ability to know is one of the most powerful traits a man can develop. It does not have to be harsh or aggressive. A calm, firm, that doesn't work for me, carries far more weight than shouting, sulking, or pleading. It communicates confidence. It communicates maturity. It communicates that you are in control of your own life. Women respect this because it shows them that you are not afraid of losing them, and that paradoxically makes them want to stay closer. They respect you because you respect yourself enough not to tolerate anything less than what aligns with your values. That is the kind of man who becomes unforgettable, not because he is the easiest to be with, but because he is the clearest about who he is. Consistency is one of the most underrated forms of strength a man can possess. In a world where emotions rise and fall like the tide, where many people act impulsively and abandon their commitments the moment things get hard, consistency is magnetic. Women notice it. They are deeply attuned to whether a man is steady or whether he is easily swayed by moods, distractions, and outside pressures. Consistency doesn't mean rigidity. It doesn't mean living a boring, predictable life. It means that you have an internal compass that doesn't spin out of control when the world around you becomes chaotic. It means that your actions today match the values you claim to hold yesterday. It means you are not one man when life is easy and another man entirely when life is hard. Most men don't realize how much women watch their follow through. It's not just what you say, it's whether you live up to it. You can talk about your goals, your mission, your principles, but if your actions collapse under pressure, your words become empty. Consistency is what gives your words weight. When you say you'll do something and then you do it again and again, regardless of how you feel that day, you build trust. Trust is the foundation of respect. If a woman cannot trust that you will remain steady in your values, in your decisions, in your presence, then she cannot truly respect you. She might enjoy your company. She might be attracted to you, but she won't look at you as a man who can lead, a man she can lean on, a man she can admire. Consistency is not glamorous. It is not flashy. It is built in the small, daily decisions that no one sees. Waking up early when you don't want to, doing the hard work even when no one is applauding, sticking to your word when it would be easier to break it. These moments may seem small, but together they form a reputation, and that reputation is what inspires respect. A man who is consistent is not easily provoked into emotional outbursts. He does not swing wildly between extremes, loving one day, cold the next. His discipline keeps him steady. This does not mean he feels nothing. It means he does not let temporary emotions dictate his long-term choices. Women find safety in this steadiness. It allows them to relax, to trust, to respect the man they are with. It tells them this man will not abandon his values or his responsibilities the moment he feels discomfort. This man is reliable. Reliability may not sound romantic, but it is one of the most attractive traits a man can develop, because attraction without respect fades quickly. And consistency is not just for her benefit, it's for yours. Being consistent builds self-respect. It gives you a sense of mastery over yourself. When you follow through on your commitments, when you act with integrity even when no one is watching, you become the kind of man who trusts himself. You no longer have to convince others of who you are because you are living proof of it. Inconsistency, on the other hand, breeds chaos. It leaves people guessing. It erodes trust. A man who is sometimes reliable and sometimes not, sometimes honest and sometimes disciplined and sometimes reckless. This man is not taken seriously. His unpredictability might be exciting for a moment, but in the long run, it becomes exhausting. Consistency is quiet power. It does not shout. It does not demand attention, but it creates a presence that cannot be ignored. When people see that you are the same man in private as you are in public, that your principles are not situational, that your effort is not dependent on your mood, they cannot help but respect you. Women respect men who can remain grounded when things get hard, who can stay calm when life tests them. They respect men who keep showing up mentally, emotionally, physically when others would give up, because a consistent man is rare, and what is rare is always valuable. So if you want respect, focus on being steady. Don't just chase motivation, build discipline. Don't just make promises, keep them. Don't just set standards, live by them. Over time, this will do more to inspire respect than any speech, any display of dominance, any attempt to demand it ever could. A man who cannot lead himself has no business trying to lead anyone else. Leadership is not a title, not a position, not something that is given to you by others. It is first and foremost an internal discipline. Before you can inspire respect, before you can expect anyone, especially a woman, to look to you as someone worth following, you must prove to yourself that you can govern your own impulses, your own emotions, your own life. Too many men try to shortcut this process. They want respect from women without having earned self-respect. They want admiration without doing the hard work of becoming admirable. They want loyalty while living in ways that are chaotic and undisciplined. But no one respects a man who cannot lead himself. And women in particular are quick to sense when a man's life is out of control, when he is tossed around by his emotions, his desires, and the opinions of others. Leading yourself begins with clarity. You must know what matters to you, what you stand for, and where you are headed. Without this clarity, you will be easily manipulated. You will say yes to things you shouldn't. Go along with situations that don't serve you, and drift through life hoping someone else will give you direction. But a man with a mission clear and specific becomes someone others naturally want to follow. His purpose creates gravity. Once you know your mission, you must develop the discipline to pursue it, even when it is difficult. Emotional control is a crucial part of this. A man who is constantly reactive, angry one moment, euphoric the next, devastated after that, cannot be taken seriously. Women respect men who can feel deeply, but act deliberately. They respect men who can experience anger without becoming destructive, who can feel fear without becoming paralyzed, who can feel sadness without giving up. This does not mean being emotionless. Quite the opposite. It means being fully alive, but refusing to let your emotions run the show. It means taking a pause before responding, thinking through your choices, and staying calm under pressure. Emotional control does not just protect your relationships. It protects your future. It keeps you from burning bridges, from sabotaging opportunities, from acting out of short-term impulses that you'll regret later. A man who leads himself also takes responsibility for his decisions. He does not blame the world, women, or circumstances for where he is. He looks at his life honestly and asks, what am I doing that is contributing to this? What must I change? This ownership is magnetic. It signals maturity. It shows that you are not waiting for someone else to come save you. When a man lives this way, he naturally begins to inspire respect without ever demanding it. A woman does not respect a man simply because he tells her to. She respects a man because his life is evidence that he deserves it. She sees that he is reliable, disciplined, purposeful. She sees that he is not trying to control her to make up for the fact that he cannot control himself. Leading yourself also means having a vision for the future and the courage to move toward it, even when others doubt you. It means being willing to walk alone for a time if that is what it takes to stay true to your path. And paradoxically, the man who is willing to walk alone often becomes the man others choose to walk with. When you lead yourself well, you do not need to raise your voice to be heard. Your presence speaks. Your actions are consistent. Your decisions make sense. And this quiet authority commands more respect than any display of dominance ever could. Women respect this because it allows them to relax into their own roles without having to take charge of everything. When you lead yourself, you free them from the burden of leading you. You become a man who can share responsibility rather than add to their stress. This is the foundation of all respect, self-leadership. Without it, nothing else works. With it, everything falls into place. You do not have to chase respect, manipulate it, or beg for it. It comes naturally because people can see that you are a man worth respecting.